Hello and welcome. Today is Monday, the 24th day of July 2017. My name is Derek, and a quick little phrase at the start of this video. If you don't understand binary, it's not going to make any sense to you. But if you do, I got a good chuckle out of this when I read this yesterday. So let's move on to the charts, as this is all mathematical based, and quite frankly, that's the type of analogy I use within these markets. And looking at this daily chart, we're going to talk about the continuation of this wedge bullish flag, but mathematics here, like talking about the 2400 support level that I'll be looking for. And even more so as such as the upside targets. When I talked about the 4100 as where this could eventually go to. I don't think on a break higher that it would go straight to 41 with really no correction or little correction moves. I think we're going to have a move probably closer to around 32 to 35 on the breakout when it happens, if of course it's going to take place soon, and then just maybe go down a bit, sideways, all that type of stuff before making a test into the 4000s, which I think is not too far from occurring within this market. But in the 2.5 minute warning this 2.5 minute warning this morning, I was stating about these lower highs and higher lows. So this symmetrical triangle is coming close to the conclusionary phases, while we have seen price action stay above the 18 average band, which means it has not corrected long enough sideways through time or deep enough through price for me to call what I like to say a standard really good correction. Now that doesn't mean that this thing can't get going even now or in the next so many hours, and boom, you get a nice green candle up which closes say at 30.50 and then follow through the next day. That could very easily happen. It's not like the markets or buyers are like, hey, wait a second guys, we can't buy. Why not? Well, the 18 average of front weighted highs is in at 2600 and prices actions at 2760. We need a longer correction. Yeah, as if. But still, as far as where I'm looking for within this, I'm looking for this to be the level. Yeah, I'm comfortable now that it's touched it. This indicator is just telling you what easy to see, of course, for a good correctionary move. Let's shorten this out for our time frame. And we'll start with the fall down from here. So you have one big red candle that goes from the 18 average of highs to the lows, escapes it a little bit lower on the next period. But this green candle, immediate rise up to the 18 average of highs, and of course this is when it has started to settle in. Now this is 8 consecutive periods in which staying within this price mechanism, total neutrality when you are looking at it from this point of view. And when you see this, as I was stating before, that means that the next short-term levels is where you would expect a break of the resistance band to be, because resistance for this area is around 28. So price action arrived around 2900 here, and then you have 2900 in here, and even this area here, 2980 from back in May or June. That is the key area. That's short-term levels. If, of course, we're breaking this basically the 2700s area will define this sideways range as. So if it breaks 28 to the upside, the next short-term target I would state to be here. And then if it breaks the 27 handle, then we'd be looking at really 26 to the low 26 area as, again, the short-term level of support. Because if you break either of the resistance or support, breaking resistance means you're starting to talk about new areas, all-time highs, usually consistently nice up moves, at least historically within this. And then breaking down below this level of support would mean that you are most likely going to make a test roughly around this previous level in at around 24. Let me just go over the Fibonacci numbers one more time. And we're looking at the 2938 high and the low of 1830. It says 61.8%. That's from bottom to top. So a 38.2 down move represents 2452. And if there's further retracement, a 61.8 down move and at about 2193. Now with this 2452, I go on mechanisms that, one, it usually pierces extra or furthermore. So further extra on 2452, well, there's an extra 50 to 24. Usually psychologically even numbers seem to work for whatever reason, but they do. And furthermore, 2400 is also this key area in which it came from. So there's the mathematics that I like to use to determine price action. And what do I do as far as trading? Well, I've been buying and selling this within the US dollar tether, so I have buy orders ready and able to buy in at around 24. Well, then let's move on to the next one. That will be Dash. This was up 10% earlier today, now up about 5 2/3 of 1%. And it's really maintaining neutrality within what has been a bullish pattern. Obviously, the long-term trend had a huge move February into March to enormous proportions and a very big correction. And I've talked about this happy face, a bowl shape, however you want to call it, formation that's in place. And it's been making some, a lot of higher lows. Not every one of them is higher, but most of them along the way, not breaking below the trend. And several times, if not almost all of them, when we see that the sellers come in, you notice here, price action back higher, fast, or significant amounts. Here again, these 2 days, we got this day, we got this day, even a little bit here. And then we're seeing it now a little bit on the upside. So when you're seeing this, one way you can try to profit from this is have your buy orders ready. That means at this stage, you have buy orders ready in the 60s. And any decent number that would take it down, because if it does anything like this again and you have a buy order in at, say, 6003 or 575 and it hits, maybe a couple hours later, or you'll just see, oh, I bought at 604 and it's back to 705, sweet kind of deal. That'll happen a lot of times too. So just keep that in mind as well. If you see a lot of those types of actions, Monero's had decent moves like that as well, that the way to take advantage of it is to have your buy and sell orders ready for such. As far as technical analysis is concerned, with where we see this price action point now at 742, where this line is, this was resistance in here. It was resisted again, finding support in the band. A breakout pattern in here, supporting the band, and again. But here's the deal. This little thing in here, this move, is basically stating, okay, we're ready to get going. This thing's going to climb higher, which means it's either going to do that or it's going to be the failed move, fast move to the downside. And a lot of this is choppy neutrality, but overall, I'm still giving the benefit of the doubt to the buyers in this market. And when we shorten this, we can also see here that these mini ticks the last few days is the area where you would expect support to be found. And we can see this better on a 4-hour chart. So we'll put that up now. And the phase is trying to hold on to the rally, which didn't work so well the last time as it managed to go up. Starts to come down. There's your correctionary phase. And we can see, nope, not going to do her. Now let's try it again. Correctionary phase is within this band area here. We've had a couple red candles down, which is fine because you want to make the higher low, maybe develop a sideways range in here as part of a correctionary move. But that's why when you're looking for any type of movements, you want to see it come to this area here, start to lift off higher, and then you can build momentum for the points. This thing looks ready to get going, and I can get a good gain out of it. Furthermore, within this time frame, as I was talking before about these buys and sell orders, as well as you can see it, just if you go for areas where you have a decent break of a key level, you're usually always going to do fine. Now, it means in situations, say in here, if you're got buy orders, you're probably going to be like, okay, I think this thing's at 74, is this breaking down in here? You're not thinking about 60, you're probably thinking about buying in here. But if you have multiple buy orders, you could basically find out later, oh, buy order fill 72, buy order fill 68, buy order fill 63. And then you wake up and you're right in here. You're like, hey, that's not bad at all. I got 2 in winning position. I got this one pretty much close to even. Same thing on these sell orders in here. If you have a sell order here, you have a sell order here, well, you're able to buy it back in here. That's just the whole thing for my type of strategy that I like to do. When markets go up, I sell. I sold a very small amount in here, and I'm looking to be buying it back at around 72. That's the strategy in which I do. I'll put a sell order in, which I did, of course. I have sell orders, again, up in this area here. I have one in this area. And I'll have them a few north of this point. But I always want to make sure that if, say, a sell order comes in, I want to put a buy. Do I want to buy it back? I ask myself that question. In this case, yeah. So what price do I want to buy it back at? Do I have more sell orders later in the future? Where do I see the next best spot to be? So that's usually what I do whenever I fill in with these orders. So when a buy order comes in, okay, where am I going to put a sell order? Let's assume I do get a buy order. I'll probably place a sell order somewhere in here and then ensure that my buy orders down here are all ready to go. And let's move on to the next one, which will be Litecoin. And I've been asked about this chart the last few videos, asking where it is. Why is there no Litecoin on this in the videos? And the reason is because I ain't doing much at all. And within these key staples, or the most of the top 15, Monero, Ripple, all those other ones, I'm not going to show it if it's not doing so much for a while, but I will later on. Give me a week or two if it's really boring as anything, because there's really not much to talk about it for an extended period of time, like the case was in here. And that's what is the situation. Obviously, major support in here, and got a little bit of a symmetrical triangle, but really just sideways choppy action within what's been an uptrend. And it's got a decent ways to go before you can state it's an amazing bullish trend, because it's got to at least get above the 18 average of highs. And also I had a request for, I think it was Gigabyte or DGB. Let me go find it. And this one is another one of those with very insane volatility. So if this is something you like, where you can go for some sick moves, then this one might be in line for you. We can take a look at the magnitude of the mathematics of going from 26 and change and falling to a little around 400. That's a monstrous move. And now from point A to current price action 795, it's pretty much doubled. Yet it's got to double again to get to here, and then close to double again to get to 32. It's a lot of potential upside that can be played. Now within the trend, we can see, since this move higher, that it went to this correctionary point, but it didn't settle in and support the 18 average of lows. Rather, it resisted it, which is never a good sign. And then on the breakdown of support, boom, down she goes. So when I see a chart as brutal as this, I see a move like this where you have a good green candle up, a spectacular one, And given the circumstances of an update, very good, up 11% for the day. So several monstrous up days in a row. But the message of the market is now stage number 2 of 4 for reversal of trend. Stage 1 is flattening of the band. Stage 2 is establishing a level of resistance. And right now, this is where it has established as pretty much a perfect level that I'd be looking for somewhere in or around here. What I would prefer to see is some sort of consolidation within here over the next 1 to 5 or 2, 3, 4, 5 days, especially if you could have a quick price correction. That's what I like about this 18 average. Once I see it come anywhere near the 18 average of highs, well, that's good enough for me. And then if I see price action break this resistance, then I think it'd be good for one more pop for at least one leg higher. But overall, when I see charts like this, codes like this, I feel a lot of these cryptos are not going to work out. Maybe I'll be wrong, and they can work out for gains before they fall, where you can have the situation, maybe comes in here, maybe rallies up to here, and then boom, down she goes. Those are situations I don't know what to expect, but I know if it's going to go to 1600, I want to see some signs and indications that'll lead me to a better indication of probability success for that to be the case. If you do have any requests, the best way to put them out is within the 2.5 minute warning video. It works better than doing it within this way. The 2.5 minute warning will be placed usually at 9:30, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Time. And thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.